Today we're taking a look at this sleek, deceivingly fast, and honestly, pretty affordable e-bike. This is the GoTrax City 3. We actually don't know if it's called City, but we're calling it City. So welcome back to the lab, guys. You know here, our opinions cannot be bought, and if you didn't already know, Tiny Baby and I, we're big bike guys. So when we had the chance to play with the biggest of the 3 city bikes from GoTrax, it was a no-brainer. During the last few weeks, we put this thing through some testing. We have 104 miles on it. We've taken it on a road trip. We've had our fair share of riding this thing, and we've had a chance to find some things we really like, but also some things we really don't like about the GoTrax City 3. As always, we'll leave some links down below for you guys and any discount codes that we can get out of GoTrax to help save you guys some money if you're interested in this thing. Otherwise, we're gonna hit you guys with a super quick 2-minute teardown in case you're not already familiar with the GoTrax City 3. First up, this thing passes the Tiny Baby lift test, although it weighs a whopping 64-point-something pounds. It's rated to support up to 300 pounds of rider and says it has a range of anyone from about 5'2" to 6'2". The handlebars and everything kind of like lean down and up and move all around. A little bit more maneuverable than like a traditional headset. The City 3 version of this bike has a 652 watt-hour battery right here, and this is a lithium-ion battery, not lithium iron phosphate. So it is lighter, that's probably why they used it, but it is not rated for as many cycles as a lithium iron phosphate battery would be rated for. And it has a 500 watt Bafang motor in the back. All the other versions, the smaller versions of the GoTrax bikes, have smaller motors. This one's actually pretty impressive. And this motor paired with this battery is actually rated to get this bike 28 miles purely on the throttle. And if you're using the pedal assist on, I'm pretty sure the lowest range, you can actually get this thing up to 60 miles on one charge. No one uses pedal assist on level 1. We're all using it on level 5, so we're not getting 60 miles. In terms of speed, this thing will get itself up to a maximum of 20 miles an hour, although there is a little hidden secret that can actually make this thing go a little faster. And to charge this guy up, you can actually just plug it directly into the wall. You can take the battery out, or you can just plug the port directly into the bike and charge this directly from the wall. And when it comes to components, the build quality and components used are actually pretty decent. This bike has nut brake. They're actually pretty responsive. They're better than some of the other e-bikes that we're in the middle of testing right now. 27.5-inch wheels. It's got an 8-speed micro shifter. This is actually something closer to what you'd find on like a mountain bike style. It's got a nice thick seat. It's got a headlamp up front. It does have a front fork, although I'm scared of it. The screen is really nice, super clear and easy to read. Even in like direct sunlight, you can still see exactly what's going on. And we've said it a couple times, but this bike does do both pedal assist and the actual throttle. So you can just ride this thing around like a dirt bike style, but you can also have it set up to pedal assist. So when you start pedaling, you're putting in minimal effort and the motor is actually doing most of the work and you just cruise and it is a blast. And you can get this thing for $14.99, though we haven't seen it for more than $12.99 on the website. So at that price, it's honestly the cheapest bike in my garage and it kind of slaps. Before we get into everything that we don't like about this GoTrax bike, we want to share with you guys the results of our testing. First up, something that we were a little worried about when we first saw the advertising is it says it charges in 5 to 6 hours. We plugged it into a regular wall outlet like it's meant to. Plugged in a completely dead battery after we just did a full range test and it was 100% drained, and actually charged in 4.5 hours, which is better than advertised and not terrible. That's like if you worked not even a full day at work and you showed up and it was dead, you could charge it all the way before you went home. And in terms of charging this thing with solar, you can't, unfortunately, because of the plug that they use. It's a weird like 3-prong little plug. Some of the other bikes we do have, you actually can charge them with solar. This one, unfortunately, you can't. In terms of speed, this bike advertises that it does 20 miles an hour, which it does with absolute ease. And if you go into the settings, you can actually change the pedal assist limit all the way up to 29 miles an hour. At that point, you're pedaling, the bike is flying, like you should be wearing a helmet. It's a lot of fun though. And to go with that, it advertises that it can do that 20 miles an hour, pure throttle, no pedaling under certain conditions that it says on their website. Minimal stopping, relatively flat ground, which we tried to replicate as best as we could.
Blew it. Stop sign blowing it. Let's go.
It says it can do 20 miles an hour, pure throttle for 28 miles. It actually did 30.5 miles, pure throttle. Mind you, the last half a mile was a little bit of like throttle, and then it would cut out on you, and then it would come back and it would cut out. But 30.5 miles total, which is way better than we expected. In terms of torque, this bike actually has a really, really responsive throttle. Some of the other ones have like a lag when you press it. So I really like the torquiness and the responsiveness of the throttle, as well as the pedal assist. And this thing actually gets up to 0 to 20 miles an hour. It's full speed with just the throttle in 10 seconds flat. And there's actually a lot that we like about this bike, but we can't ignore the things that we don't. Starting with the weather rating, it's IPX4 rated. If you don't know what that means, it means it's not really, it's like splash proof, which I get, it's electronics and whatever, but we just took this thing on a road trip and it was on the bike rack and it started pouring rain. And I was scared, dude, because yeah, it's rated for it, sure, but like it's not the best for something that's only got such a low rating. So I wish, seeing that it's an outdoor toy, that it was rated like other outdoor toys. The second thing we don't like is there's no anti-theft protection. There's a password. You can set it so that you can't turn the bike on without the password. Some other bikes have apps that you can connect to. It'll lock the rear wheel, so you literally can't do anything with it. Take it, like you can't pedal it. There's a key that you use to take the battery out. And in my brain, you already put the key there. There's a key slot. It would be really cool if you had to just put that key in there to like turn the bike on. Some anti-theft GPS tracking, something like that built into this bike would go a long way. A lot of other competitors' bikes in the price range do offer those things. Something else that I don't like, and that you will get really used to, but it's weird to me, is that the throttle is on the left side, which is not the native side for a throttle. So every time I jump on, it just doesn't feel right to me. You'll get used to it, but at the end of the day, I think it's just a little weird. Another little thing that kind of bugs me is you can't see the battery percentage when you're charging it. You have to use, there's a light on the charging brick, and when it's red, it's not charged, and when it's green, it's charged. And even if you're charging it through the bike with the battery like plugged into the bike, you can't turn the screen on while you're charging it. It'd just be cool if you could. And the final thing that we don't like about GoTrax more than the bike is they don't give me the warm and fuzzies when I go on their website. The Canada and the US website for the exact same bike, completely different information. The Canadian site says this bike can hold 260 or something pounds. The US site says it can hold 300 pounds. There's a lot of weird information, and you can tell a lot of the blurbs and little pop-ups on their website are just really roughly translated, and some of them don't make any sense at all. While the product is actually really, really good, like I do like the bike, I would feel really hesitant if I came across their website trusting it enough to actually spend over $1,000 on that site. Luckily for this bike, there is a pretty good amount of things that we do like, starting with something that I think a lot of people overlook, but is actually really important, which is the gearing. This bike has appropriately sized gear ratios. You can ride this bike without the battery on at all, which is important in case you're riding it and it dies or it breaks or something. You can actually get the bike home. You can ride the bike up a hill, and you can ride it at a decent speed with no battery on at all. The next thing that I really like is the responsiveness. This is like hand in hand, just like the most important thing. The throttle responsiveness is one thing, pedal assist responsiveness is another. As soon as you put pressure down on that pedal, the bike recognizes it and starts to help you accelerate, which is really important because a lot of times you're on a hill and you go to start pedaling and it takes like a full rotation for the motor to actually kick in. This one kicks in like instantly. It's seamless. It feels proper. Like it just feels like a good quality bike. The next thing we really like is the range on this bike. It's great. It does what it advertises, and it's a really good range. Like that's more than most, I don't want to say most people, but it's more than a lot of people's commutes to work. You could get all the way to work with that thing, no problem. I could get to work and home.
No problem.
No problem. We really like the quality of the components on this bike and the quality of just like the frame and the parts. Like everything feels good and tight. It doesn't rattle. It doesn't, like the fenders don't rattle around. There's no weird loose stuff other than that front fork, which is just really undersized due to the weight and everything of this bike. It's got this tiny little dollar store fork, and I just don't trust it. It like already creaks and makes noises. The rest of the bike is pretty damn good for the price. The bike shipped extremely fast and was packaged really, really, really well actually. And the assembly was super simple. Like Tiny Baby is a complete nerd and he can assemble the whole bike. So to summarize this, we're in the middle of filming with 4 e-bikes right now. I'm not gonna lie or lead you guys astray from the other videos, but this one is currently our favorite. I would 100% recommend this to a friend. It's a good quality, responsive, fun to ride. Aside from the fact that the front fork is bound to just blow out and blind somebody one day, The rest of the bike is unreal. It's simple, affordable, good quality, and that's kind of all you can ask for when you're looking for a cheaper end e-bike. That is all we got for you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.